seen anything on this, but I pushed the button.
It said recording in progress.
Well,
Oh, that's fine.
That's
time out, maybe time's out, yep.
Common council meeting October 3rd, 2023.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone for coming to our October 3rd meeting. Deputy Mayor Michaels is filling in for our Mayor Scott Steve tonight. Just want to point out that he is at a fundraiser for the victims of violence. What they do is they volunteer a dish to pass, and he's making something that is a little different than what he made last year. It's supposed to be something like a cheese-filled biscuit. So we'll see how he fares probably the next meeting, if not before.
That's if he's in there yet.
Well, I mentioned to him that make sure you don't let them burn. Okay, let's start the meeting with the roll call.
Councilmember Scott,
Present.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Here.
Councilmember Pinello,
Here.
Councilmember Lane,
Here.
Councilmember Thompson. Here. Councilmember Carpenter is recorded absent. Councilmember Beckwith,
Present.
Councilmember Michaels.
Here. Okay, if we, for all that are able, stand for the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do have one proclamation.
Declaring 2023 declaring Fire Prevention Week in 2023. Whereas the city of Cortland is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and residing in our city. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,800 people in the United States in 2021, and fire departments in the United States responded to 338,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, and fire departments responded to more than 166,400 annually between 2016 and 2020. And whereas 2 of every 5 home fires starts in the kitchen, with 31% of those fires resulting from unattended cooking. And whereas more than half of self-reported non-fatal home cooking fire injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fire themselves. And whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half. And whereas the city of Cortland Fire Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme is Cooking Safety Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention, which effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Therefore, I, Scott Steve, Mayor of the City of Cortland, do hereby proclaim October 8th through the 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Cortland, and urge all people of Cortland to check their kitchens for fire hazards and use safe cooking practices during Fire Prevention Week 2023, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Cortland Fire Department.
Thank you, Andy.
Deputy Mayor, if you want to do that moment of reflection.
Yes, yes, want to reflect a moment of silence, for the Starr family. Commissioner William Starr served as our wastewater commissioner for 28 years, since 1993, as well as a city fire commissioner for 7 years, since 2016. Services will be Friday night, 5 to 8 p.m. at Cardi Funeral Home. Will be a mass at 11 a.m. Saturday morning at the St. Mary's Church. Please keep his wife Liz and their 2 daughters in your prayers, and let's take a moment and wish his family well in this sad moment. Thank you. I've personally known Bill and his wife for 35 plus years. It was certainly heart-wrenching to hear that he passed, as well as I'm sure others that knew the family well. Our Mayor Scott Steve wants to reflect that he was a great neighbor and a friend, being that they lived very close by and they shared a lot of things together. Well, with that being said, I also want to mention that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I see some of us are wearing pink tonight. I have a friend that had gone through surgery. She's alive today because of the treatments. And certainly wish anyone that's going through this that it's an ongoing process, but I wish them well. It's something that we need to be aware of, men as well as women, that should be aware of their bodies and take the precautions that's required. With that being said, I'd like to move on with the rest of tonight's agenda. Want to see if we have anyone that signed up for the privilege of the floor. We do have Donald Chu. Donald, you want to come up?
Thank you. I just wanted to share what I thought was an interesting story I read in the New York Times this week, which was talking about an arrangement they had in Connecticut, a city in Connecticut, where the for childcare, and I'm talking about Parker School, half of the school, half the building was for childcare classes. The other half was for residents, for the providers, because typically the providers are not very well paid, and so this would be a benefit to them. I was thinking, with the providers there, it would be very easy or relatively easy for people to drop off their kids 7 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty early, and pick them up at 6 o'clock, which is late. And it would also be housing for low income people. I just wanted to share that. I thought, oh, that's an interesting twist on what has been discussed.
Absolutely. I'm sure the committee will take a look at this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Moving forward, we only had one signed up tonight. We can get into our financial reports.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I will go through the highlights of the financial report that is available online. To start with year-to-date actuals through September 2023, general fund expenditures continue to outpace revenues received, although compared to our last report, we are caught up on posting all of our real estate property tax revenues. So it'll look like a large increase month or report over report. We were just behind in booking those. And water and wastewater, currently their revenues are outpacing their expenditures. We do have to look at, remaining debt service payments, but that's, generally a positive situation to be in at this point in the year. I do want to let you all know that, we will have to do an omnibus or a cleanup budget amendment. I know Deputy Mayor, you've talked about this earlier, maybe a couple of months into me joining. This is where I'll bring something forward closer to year end, where we have a variety of line items that are over. Some of them are things like overtime that we really have no way around. And some repairs for a lot of the departments are already at this point nearly fully expended. So while they're not doing anything extra, if there's something that an emergency repair we're not planning for, we will have to adjust for that, as well as some other changes for benefits. But I will lay all that out as a separate agenda item with each individual line item. If there's anything that presentation wise you would like to see in advance of that, please let me know. I think at this point it's a little too early, and instead of having you do multiple of them, we would want to come closer to the end of the year.
Two question on that in regards to overtime. When do our departments have a regular cycle of assessment of overtime so that potentially it could be planned? They do.
Well, so I'll say all departments submit their overtime reports bi-weekly with payroll. Departments do not expend overtime unless they absolutely need to.
Okay.
So where possible, we use other levers and mechanisms first, but we do have a small amount of OT that happens on a bi-weekly basis. I wouldn't say that any department is being excessive, and most of them really do try to find other means to address staffing shortages and coverage. As part of your packet, we also have the grant and capital project updates. They are 1 to 2 pages each. I'm happy to answer any questions on all of those. But I will not go through each of them today. If that's something you all would like to see moving forward, let me know. In terms of the external audit, I do want to follow up. 2021 and 2022 financial statements were submitted to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. 21 was submitted on September 28th and 22 was submitted on September 27th. This completes the formal external audit process for both years, and all related documents should be uploaded to the website under administration. There is an audit report section. We hope to have that up there by the end of the week, if not sooner. And that would be all the materials that were submitted in the supporting documents at the last meeting in September, but they are in final form. And just a reminder, while they were all marked draft, when you did see them, numbers did not change. It was just us finalizing footnotes, corrective action plans, items like that. I know that can be sometimes a point of concern or confusion. I don't want people to have to go page by page to make sure that the numbers were the exact same. We also, many of you are aware, the New York State Comptroller issues a fiscal stress score every year. They do this for those ending in December 31st in September. We have been issued our fiscal stress score for 2022, and it is 52.5. This is out of 100. It leads us to a designation of susceptible to fiscal stress. There are 4 categories, so the one category below this is no designation. The last time we had that was 2020. I know that may seem alarming to some of you and might cause concern, but in looking at what we have done from 2020 to 2022, the main reason why we tick up in that susceptible fiscal stress score, and it is in the back of the packet, there are a variety of metrics that they use across all cities, all counties, to assess us equally, right? And one of the ones that they are most concerned about is fund balance. Because we have done some significant infrastructure projects, which have really started planning, 2017, 18, 19, but we're finally actually starting to expend the funds in 21 and 22. We issue bans to do that. When you issue a ban, a bond anticipation note, we're essentially front loading it ourselves. So our fund balance is going down on paper because we have yet to receive the bond itself. That does not mean that the moment we issue the bond, our score is gonna go to no designation. What'll happen is at the bottom of the page, our debt service, which is a really low score right now, will tick up a little. It's likely not to be a 1-for-1. I think we will probably be in a little bit better position once we do the bond, but we're gonna be in this boat for probably another year, and I don't want to cause concern. There are things we can do, and where we can save, we would increase our fund balances. But we have some other things we need to correct in the interim, so I don't wanna set an unrealistic expectation, but all in all, I don't think that this is necessarily anything that would cause concern. If we went from no designation to moderate or significant fiscal stress, all in the span of a year or two, I would be cautioning you in other ways, but I think this is something that together we can manage. And then budget development process, per the charter, we will issue the mayor's budget by October 15th. That is a Sunday. I will tell you all that I will likely need all of that time. So you will likely be getting an email distribution on a Sunday. I will make sure it is placed on the October 17th agenda. It will be late to add to the website, then it won't go out with the packet. If we happen to be done, of course we will, but I will tell you, I will need every hour that I can take up until that deadline. Based on the schedule from last year, I am holding Thursday, October 19th. It's a Thursday, Tuesday. So Thursday, October 19th, Tuesday, October 24th, and Thursday, October 26th, all at 6 p.m. If possible, we can do department presentations for the first two, and then we can do any adjustments and amendments that you all would like to see.
Could you repeat that?
October 26th. 19th, 24th, and 26th. And if, I would say if we, I would hold the 31st too, that would keep with the Tuesday, Thursday, if you end up thinking we might need more time. But I think based on how it was done last year, you only had used 3 meetings. There will be a handful of things to look at and work through this year. And I do appreciate all the departments that have been working diligent with me. I've changed a couple things in the process and they've been extremely supportive and receptive. And we look forward to releasing the budget for you all to review.
Lisa, one quick question that I wanna see, and I don't know about you folks, but, what we do through the micro enterprise program through Film and Development.
Mhm.
It was prior to you, and it was really stern, but we wrote off a lot of that. I don't think we need to do it, I would say twice a year, updated, making sure people are paying, be notified. I know AJ said he was gonna do it, but I think it's important to the constituents, especially myself, to make sure everything's up current.
I do now sit on that committee and
Yeah.
to my knowledge, everybody is to
Okay,
date,
'cause
but I will.
As you remember, not you, all of us, I said, a cold day and you know what, if we're gonna write off another $400,000+, we weren't doing our job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that, Troy, at
Okay.
the committee meeting. It
Okay.
might have been before you came on, Lisa, but Linda
Yeah.
Armstrong, we talked about
Yeah.
that, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving forward, I would like to do something more substantial on a quarterly basis and we can.
However you wanna do it, I don't know
But
if you're
yes.
abreast of all that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yep, we can do that.
There was that information in your packet that maps all the individuals out there that have received grant money and where they're at, where they need to be. And some actually dropped out of the program. So take a minute and go over your packets. I wanna also thank Lisa and her staff for doing a phenomenal job. I see this probably more than the rest of you, but she hit the pavement running and she hasn't stopped.
She must be sharing a trip in a bottle here.
No, you were
Stayed
here,
off.
what time this morning?
Irrelevant.
I mean, she was,
Was the coffee on or she beat you?
no, she beat me by a long mile. But no, we certainly appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. Wouldn't be possible without my staff and everybody else around me. So this is not a one-person show. This is
Yeah.
literally all of city leadership and many of their staff members helping make this happen.
Yes. And thank you again.
Thank you. 2 more quick announcements. Water bills have gone out and they should either be received this evening or tomorrow in the mail for residents. I am excited to announce that we are back to online payments. I know that was something that everybody was looking for. In the interim, we are going to go with Doxo, DOXO. They will be doing a press release and public campaign within the next few days, and it is listed on everybody's water bill where you can go. You go to the city's website and click under water and sewer payments, and you will have to register through the Doxo website itself. The best news is if you choose the ACH option, there are no transaction fees. So you can pay online for free, and they do have a secure platform that residents can feel comfortable using, as well as having more options like Apple Pay and digital pay and the ways many people pay. We will still take check and money order by mail and receive anyone at the counter who wants to pay by any means. And then lastly, I would like some direction on November 7th. That would be our first meeting for the November month. If it's the pleasure of council, I will put forth a resolution to cancel that meeting. That has been what we have done in the past when there is an election night. And just want to confirm that that is what everybody would like to see on the next agenda.
So what I'd like to do is put a motion on the floor to accept November 7th as the non-meeting night.
I'll second.
Right.
I'll second.
Troy and
You're clear.
Mary Claire, yeah, Mary Claire. First and second, yeah, I'm looking at. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Nay? Okay, thank you. Mayor's report, Mayor Steve will report on his achievements at the next meeting. I guess I can go ahead with mine. We received a grant several weeks ago for tree planting for $1,000. We passed this on to our landscaping design committee. We didn't hear back from them. I reached out to one of them, and we decided that to go ahead and try to do the best we can to apply for this grant. I forwarded the paperwork over to Andrea at the Youth Bureau. It's only for $1,000. It's a grant that we applied for last year, and the way it was written, we did not receive it. But we're also, since we were denied last year, we can reapply again this year. So, I want to thank Andrea for filling out that paperwork for us, and she did submit it on time. So I guess just cross our fingers. And that's all I have for my award report. So let's move to Ward 1.
Nothing new to report in Ward 1.
Okay, Ward 2.
I got an email about the intersection of Madison Street and Homer Ave, where there have been traffic accidents. It seems like there have been several lately. So I'm going to ask Chief Sandy to authorize the appropriate body to look into this. And I'm wondering, how can we make intersections, this one in particular, safer? And should we look at putting cameras on our traffic lights as we replace them? When I moved here 21 years ago, I thought the drivers in Portland were incredibly courteous. Now I see people jetting through red lights, and it's a real concern. And so, so that's one item in the second ward. Another is Teresa Quayle's email about there not being spaces for public parking in the Portland Elks and the Hollywood parking lot. Not that it belongs to them, but that's where it's situated between those two businesses. I asked her to send the email to all of you so that you would be apprised of the situation. Also, the free parking is limited to 2 hours, and the Elks business is sustained by large events that they have that last about 4 hours. And so, in the evenings and on the weekends, they would like to see free parking for at least 4 hours. Also, it seems that there aren't enough parking spaces for people who want to pay for parking, residential parking, and live above Los Lagos, the restaurant that's in the same block as the Hollywood. So I'm concerned about this, and I think we may need to look at the parking again, at least for this lot. And I'd like to know how many, especially now that there's construction equipment parked in there, how many actual free parking spaces are there for the public in that lot? Next item, the second ward meeting about Parker went well. It was open to all city residents, but primarily concerned the second ward, as Parker is smack dab in the middle of the second ward. We had a collective discussion. Most of the Parker ad hoc committee were there. Thank you to those who came. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the fire department and the youth bureau, we had chairs for people to sit down, and we had a microphone so people could hear the discussion. Many people shared their opinions regarding what they'd like to see and what they wouldn't like to see. And I will share those at the next council meeting, but I'd like to share them with the ad hoc committee first. And I also want to emphasize that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My mom is visiting me this week. She's 95 years old. She's a survivor. I think she had it in her 60s. So catch it early and you've got a very good chance of surviving. So please get checked. Thank you.
Okay, after Troy's ward report, I can probably shed some light on a little bit more about the parking
Okay,
that I've learned.
thank you.
Ward 3,
So, Atkins Ave is now all paved and totally improved, and it looks so nice. I see Billy back there. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And George Street also. The only issue, I had texted Nick about a street light on Elwood being out, and it's still out. So, but other than that, everything's going very smoothly in the third ward.
okay, Ward 4.
I also spoke to Teresa Quayle, and she mentioned all the things that Katie mentioned. Also that there are 30 people who live above the businesses from the Elks to Main Street, and there aren't 30 residential parking spaces for those people. And the fact that the construction guys are parking in there. So that's a problem too. I did get an email from a constituent about the comptroller's report. He was concerned, so thank you. I'll be able to give him this information. There was a increased police presence on Compton Street last week, where at one point there were 3 cars pulled over by police, by 3 separate police. So hopefully it will get people to slow down. It was, I mean, and it was for like 3 or 4 days. They were there and they were stopping people. So thank you to the police department. And I believe that's it for the 4th.
Well, thank you. Ward 5.
Just a couple of things in Ward 5, the primary being, the light that's centered on, I wanna say that's Broadway and Delaware and Tompkins.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fast transition, right now. I don't know if it's been recent. I think you've talked about this before.
We've reset a few, it's doable, it's pretty easy.
Well, it certainly right now poses a danger. There's not enough delay.
It's still.
And, I almost witnessed an accident there because of it. So that's a concern. And then also in the ward, more traffic, concerns, between the high school and, Randall. That certainly have witnessed some speeding and, residents, have also mentioned that, up and down Pendleton. And very high traffic, children area, so, if you're out there listening, please speed, slow down, your speed. And yeah, that's about it right now.
Bill, you wanna take note regarding, traffic concerns at the corner of, Broadway and Tompkins? Okay, yeah, thank you. Ward 6, Ward 7.
I'm here.
Yeah.
One thing about the parking that people gotta realize, you know, there's 30 residents above, okay, we'll say from Groton Ave to, was it not Haskell Place, but the.
Orchard.
Orchard, yeah, but you also gotta remember, you have from there all the way down to Tompkins Street, you have the Hopkins block, now it's all residential parking, there's more residential housing than we ever have parking. So people gotta realize that, you know, we want them to, I don't know how many apartments are in the, you know, the Hopkins house, and you got the new one across from the jewelry used to be, you know, across from the, that's all housing upstairs. We want all this stuff to come here, we gotta pay the price. You know, it's just the way, we're gonna have to have a happy medium, but if people are, either gonna have to pay for a full-time permit. Or they're gonna have to find someplace else to park, we gotta, you know, we need them here, but we don't have. We don't have enough parking just for the residential housing in Cortland on Main Street right now, nonetheless, the businesses and the college kids and, you know, so we gotta have a happy medium here, so. Real quick on the fire prevention, we all know when it, I know when it is, I was a volunteer fireman for 20+ years and it's very important. What do you guys wanna just, maybe mention real quick, are you guys still doing the smoke detector program?
So we currently have a grant to install smoke detectors in single family homes in the city of Portland. So if anybody out there is needing a smoke detector, feel free to reach out to the fire department, 607-756-5612. And you can make an appointment, and we'll come to your house and install them for you in the best places that there are. Also, Alderman Beckwith is referring to the change your clock, change your smoke detector battery program.
Yeah.
The caveat to that is any of the new smoke detectors actually have a sealed 10-year battery in it. If you're not familiar with a smoke detector, again, call the number 607-756-5612. We'll send a couple guys out in the Tahoe, we'll take a look at your smoke detectors and make a recommendation based on detector age and the batteries inside of it.
And I certainly would think and believe that the council that would, if some reason the fire department was overwhelmed, they ran out of funding, that we would definitely would not turn down somebody for a smoke detector. So please feel free to talk, because there's no reason anybody needs to die because they don't have a smoke detector. Believe me, it's nothing you wanna go through. I don't know if any of you guys seen it, but I dealt with one in Homer. So it's nothing you wanna witness, believe me. Yeah, so.
The only other thing I'd add real quick, the fire department, this Saturday is our open house.
That would be next
From,
time, yeah.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So feel free to stop by and check us out. 607-756-5612.
That's all I have.
Okay, just a quick minute, get back to, some of the parking concerns. To answer Katie's question regarding, the one row that's been taken up by, the equipment on Groton Ave. The row right behind it has now been, alleviated for, resident, or not resident, but, patron parking, for the restaurants. It's gonna free up us, maybe at least 20 spaces.
Okay.
And the signage has been put up this week, to reflect that, so that, you don't have to worry about, resident parking there.
Okay.
Driving through there, there's posts all over the signs on it, you can't miss them. I feel sorry for DPW, they're gonna plow that lot this winter.
Well, that's, yeah, and that's gonna be tough. Also keep in mind that, with Main Street, being torn up, this time of year, Main Street would be full, with parking on weekends. I mean, It used to be, and I'm sure in the future it will be. We just need to get to that point. A lot of people forget that there is parking along Groton Ave. A lot of people don't park in front of that parking lot, and there are maybe a half dozen spaces right there.
That's from about Monroe to the end of the second entrance of the parking lot, I think just in front, just before Las Lagos. You can
Yes,
park on the south side of the Groton,
yes.
heading east.
Something else that we had done this summer was that I had mentioned to the mayor that we look at a firm to look at the parking lot in question between the Hollywood and the Elks. And we hired a firm to look at that, and we ended up with by rerouting the entrance and exits of that parking lot, we came up with 52 additional spaces.
52.
But imagine if we decided now to rehab that parking lot, the phone calls we would all receive. We're gonna try to do this when the college is out of session next year. So by the fall of next year, that lot will have 52 additional spaces. But we need to get to that point first, and people and patrons, and restaurant owners need to have patience. There's no reason why you can't park on Main Street, after hours. I know many of us prefer not to because of the condition of the road surface. But we are gonna pave Main Street temporarily to get through the winter months, and this is gonna happen in November. So all that parking that we haven't utilized will be utilized in the winter months. So with all this being said, let's move on to agenda item number 1.
Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry, I had one more announcement that I had forgotten. Coffee with the Cop is tomorrow from 9 AM to 11 AM at Brew. So that's our Portland time, but it is it is happening throughout the nation. I think it has been noticed in a variety of places, including police department's Facebook, but Chief Sandy had asked us to say something tonight, so everybody was aware. My apologies for the interruption.
No, that's fine. Something to point out, they did have new mugs made, so if you want a new mug, it's time to get one.
That's a coffee mug, not a mug shot, right?
That's true.
Okay, I was making sure.
That's a good distinction.
We can state that, so I just wanna make sure I wasn't going down there to get a mug shot.
Okay.
I'll still use your old one.
Agenda.
You haven't changed that much.
I'm sure it's still on fire. Agenda item number 1, amend the 2023 adopted budget by $7,500 to recognize revenues not appropriated in the original budget.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does hereby amend the 2023 adopted budget in the amount of $7,500 as outlined in the accompanying table.
Okay, we have a motion on the table by Katie. Do we have a second? Troy, second. Any questions? Roll call.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor, if we could go back one to approve the minutes from the previous.
Oh,
Right.
yes. We have a motion on the table to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Troy first, Seth second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone? Nay?
No.
Hey, carried. Okay, now we can move on to agenda item number 2. Authorize city parking citation fees and fines.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council hereby authorizes a citation fine of $35 for those in violation of parking in municipal lots without a valid residential permit between 3 AM and 6 AM with an escalation to $40 if unpaid in 7 days, and further escalation to $55 if unpaid in 30 days.
Wayne, first, Troy second. Any questions?
As it stated, right now is for the residential permit holders. Just so y'all aware of that, we're not.
Yes, this is just the follow-up from last month that we had adopted the 3 AM to 6 AM. So this will be applying for anyone who's not a residential.
But I'm concerned that we don't have spots for people who are living there.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
And
that's
when
the
the-
problem.
And in addition to
There's-
that, even if we
All
have,
marked in there, residential permit holders, big signs, right to the parking lot, leave tonight.
if we have 52 extra spots next year, did we measure twice and design once, or are we just putting in extra 52 spots, not knowing what the appropriate ratio is for our city, our size?
That's something we're gonna have to figure out when we get to that.
Do you feel
This
this?
is just for the spots that right now are designated, we
I
can change that at any time.
I understand.
No, I
that.
know, I'm just.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, we got 52 extra spots coming. We got a town full of college students. And the most accidents of drunk drivers happen late at night, early in the morning. To me, it promotes drunk driving. I'm concerned about that.
Well, it's good discussion. I'm sure we'll have this discussion again next year, as we get closer.
Could we make it a resolution or approval that AJ would have to amend
The changes that you made in July
that
allowed
was all, that's all
council.
documented now that you know, you
Yes.
park on the street, cause I know that book, if you ever read the
Clean-
book through the book,
it was
every street's designated.
Cleaned up
Yes.
and authority was delegated to the council to make decision by resolution.
Okay, I was
So
making
if
sure
there
that was done before we.
Things that we need to see, we can. I know the mayor, our clerk, and the police department have raised those concerns. Councilperson Thompson, so we will be doing some, I'm sure, some additional campaigning about that specific topic, but we will make sure we work on something.
There's a lot of work for the cops, they write a ticket, and they come up right here at this bench, and next thing you know, it wasn't done right, and they throw the whole thing out, because it wasn't in our charter, so. Just making sure that was done. Okay.
Want to move on that, Andy?
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
nay,
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Nay.
Councilmember Thompson.
Nay.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
4 ayes, 3 nays.
Carries. Okay, agenda item number 3. Designate representatives to the Greater Tappan County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium. DTC MHIC Board of Directors.
Resolved that the following individuals are hereby designated to serve as the delegate and alternate to the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium Board of Directors. Lisa M. Henty, delegate, and Mayor Scott Steve, alternate. And be it further resolved that Chrissy Brown is hereby designated to serve as a member to the Joint Committee on Plan Structure and Design, Membership and Appeals and Claims as seats become available and appointments are confirmed.
I'll move.
Mary Claire. Troy second. Any discussion?
greatly appreciate your willingness to serve on that committee.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody that, really understands insurance, one of the reasons why we hired Lisa. So, once again, thank you for. We want to move on that.
Okay. Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye,
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye. Agenda item number 4. Approval of the 2023 and future amendments to the municipal cooperative agreement to the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium, GTC MHIC.
Resolved that until rescinded by resolution, the city of Cortland's current presiding elected official is approved to sign without further action any Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium Municipal Cooperative Agreement updates that have been advanced by that board of directors at the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium Board of Directors meetings and approved by the Department of Financial Services. And be it further resolved that the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium is directed to keep its resolution on file to accompany any current presiding elected official signatures to amended MCA changes.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
Very clear. Wayne second. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Yeah.
That's. Health insurance is probably one of the most expensive things that we do. And with that. How do you see this playing out versus the legalese resolved section here?
Yes, so you all will recall that you have already signed and approved the 2023 MCA. The State Department of Financial Services required an amendment which requires all of the entities to go back again. This would fast track that situation. So if in 24 we get to September and we need to make one small change to this, it's not changing benefits, and annually when we go through the budget process, we'll be going through all of that, and as soon as we have the MCA, it's not meant to keep you all from seeing that. We were choosing the fast track option for the future amendments only, not essentially the annual agreement that you have to authorize. That makes
Thank you
sense.
for clarifying.
And there can be no changes to, say, retirement insurance without discussion and our approval, correct?
The MCA wouldn't cover that, right? The changes to plan benefit design would happen during the budget process annually.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone? Go ahead and move.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye. Agenda item number 5, approve special events permit and sound device permits for the YMCA 5K run events on October 14th, 2023 and November 23rd, 2023. Keep in mind, these are 2 separate events.
Yes. Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby approve for issuance by the city clerk special event permits and sound device permits without fee for the 5K run events from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on October 14th, 2023, and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on October 23rd, 2023.
Do we have a motion?
So,
Katie, first, Pat second. Any discussion?
they've done these before, they're great community events, and they do a good job.
Yes, in your packet, there are maps of, the routes that, these will occur on, so. And I believe that they're still taking, applications for those who wanna enter these events, so.
That's okay.
Keep that in mind.
We walk it.
5K,
We walk
Uh,
it. It's a turkey trap.
No driving.
Anyone, go ahead.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye. Agenda item number 6. Confirm mayor's appointment of Margaret Hewitt to the Environmental Advisory Committee.
Resolved that the common council does hereby confirm Mayor Steve's appointment of Margaret Jewett to the Environmental Advisory Committee for the remainder of the vacant term expiring December 31st, 2023.
I'll move.
Wayne first,
Second.
Troy second,
No, Troy's got it.
Don't fight.
Troy's got it.
Troy's got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Second.
No, Troy's got.
Any discussion?
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane,
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson,
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye. Please thank, Margaret, for this appointment.
Yes.
Yes.
I will pass that along to her. She's working tonight at the Frosty Caboose, otherwise she would have attended
Last night, right?
Friday night.
Right, I couldn't remember what it was, yeah, I knew it was coming around. Very busy too with weather.
Incidentally,
Definitely tonight.
I printed and folded 50 tree flyers to hand out at the Parker second ward meeting. A lot of them weren't taken. If anybody wants to hand them out in their ward as they go around door to door, I'm happy to give you some. Or I could bring them down to City Hall for the counter.
There you go.
Yeah.
That might be a better option. Okay, agenda item number 7. Authorize the mayor to enter an agreement with CNS companies for Nos Industrial Park site, ERP site E712011, remediation services.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council authorizes Mayor Scott Steve to enter into an agreement with CNS companies for professional services relating to remediation of the Nos Industrial Park site, including updating of the remedial design work plan and cost estimates, preliminary design, contract documents, bidding assistance, construction oversight, reporting, and project closure for a total fee of $7,500.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, Mary Claire first, Wayne second.
Question, where is the Nos Industrial Park site?
Okay, that's South Main Street.
Over by the plastics?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, right behind that.
That's in between, what is that now over there? Capco, I think, right? In the plastic company?
Yeah, Capitol's further down, but,
Yeah, it's past the railroad tracks.
but it's right behind the plastic company on the same side.
I think it's O'Shea Collision right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Capco.
It's very
Capco occupies that building too.
exciting, good news.
Well,
It's gonna be cleaned up. How long will it take?
Well, most of the cleanup's had already taken place. We had performed that, hoping that EPA would recognize it as a dog park, but we were just shy of completing it.
Okay,
Instead of having one layer of topsoil, since we're gonna be using it for a public, I guess, recreation park, however you wanna call it, a dog park. We need 2 layers of topsoil. So that's kind of where we're at right now, to make sure that this 7,500 is gonna cover that, and there won't be any added expenses after that.
I believe this will just be for CNS's services. We will likely have additional costs for that, additional top layer.
okay.
They're gonna help us do the design, then you'll see another contract come forward with that information.
Just remove the.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, maybe hopefully next year we'll have a dog park over there. We certainly have enough space for parking, if anyone gets a chance to get over there. You can't miss the site, get down near the end of that one street there. Opens up into an empty lot.
So can I ask, is the remediation gonna be the removal of more soil before they put down fresh
I'm
soil?
not sure I'm not that familiar with the project, but from what I understand, remediation is, CNS is gonna oversee the remediation for the 7,500. I believe that we're going to remove a foot and replace a foot with clean soil.
Okay,
So I believe there's gonna be removal of a foot and then clean soil brought back in.
where does the old soil go? Where does the soil that they removed?
Usually they usually goes to a facility that basically cooks all the equipment outside. There is a facility in Albany where that soil is gonna go.
That's
That would be up to the
fascinating.
contractor.
Thank you.
It all depends on what's in the soil. Someone can go to Syracuse, if it's really contaminated, it's gotta be buffalo, you know, pay a lot of them because of trucking.
They have ways of cleaning it.
If it's not bad, they can, maybe what I'm reading sensing out of this is that, they gotta bring in more topsoil, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not covering what's already there. Cause a lot of it was already removed. Might-
Yeah.
If they're asking for another layer, I haven't read all, I haven't obviously, it might be just covered more up.
Okay, any other questions?
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman,
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello,
Aye.
Councilmember Lane,
I,
Councilmember Thompson,
Nay.
Member Thompson recorded nay. Councilmember Beckwith,
Hey,
Councilmember Beckwith recorded no. Councilmember Michaels,
Aye.
5 ayes, 2 noes.
Hey, we've, already, had an update from, Katie regarding, Parker School. Is there anyone else that, wants to add to that attended that meeting, the other night?
I would like to add that, it doesn't seem as though there's any support for INHS to be in the building. So I would hope that the mayor would have a conversation with them, because I believe that they were gonna keep that contract open until December for us. But as no city council members chose to meet with them, and there's been such opposition to, any housing that included section 8 in the building. And in fact, some people don't want to see housing of any kind in the building. It seems as if INHS is just it's not gonna happen, so I would hope that the mayor would let them know that officially.
I can't speak on the mayor's behalf. I know some of the conversation I had with him. That, until something else comes along for this site, we'll keep that on the back burner in case, nothing does come of this site. I do wanna say that, there's some people in my ward that would like to see it back on the tax roll. And I'm sure I'm not speaking just for,
Right.
We all would.
just for my ward, but I think others have the same constituents that have voiced their opinion. They don't care what goes in there as long as it's back on the tax roll.
and what are we up to now? We gotta be over $250,000.
I appreciate that. Of course, residents, taxpayers in the city would like to see this property generate taxes. The mayor said during the meeting that everything was on the table in terms of we were asked point blank if the city was, only considering selling the building. And he said, it's all on the table if we can come up with creative solutions. My opinion is it has to be able to sustain itself. It can't be something that the city funds. And so I think we'd all like to see that property generating taxes. I'm hopeful that we'll come up with a creative mixed use. The committee's talked about a lot of possibilities. I think people are excited about that. Everybody wants to see some kind of childcare in that building. But I do not believe that there's any support on the council for INHS to be in the building.
Everyone's, has their own opinion, I guess.
Is that based off the current RFP that they submitted? Is that what you're saying, Katie?
I'm saying that based on, no one has wanted to tour the building. No one has wanted to meet with them. they've offered to meet with all of you. Everyone's been offered an opportunity to go tour their facilities, which I did, and they're lovely, and I talked to people in neighborhoods, and they also met with opposition in some of those neighborhoods, but people are delighted with them now. People didn't move away. There wasn't an influx of crime. Nevertheless, people in my ward feel that I in particular got on this bandwagon too soon and with too much enthusiasm. And they are just set against INHS. And I've heard that message and I understand. And so I can't see myself voting for it. And I can't see any of you voting for it because actions speak louder than words. And I haven't seen any actions in support of it, and I haven't heard any people speak out in favor of it publicly, so I feel like we should cut them loose.
But I don't think it's necessarily INHS that people are against. It's any kind of residential in there.
It's interesting because there are some people who are in favor, if you say to them, what if it were high-end residential? I think they're really worried about Section 8, and it's too bad because I've learned a lot about Section 8 since this whole thing started. I had a real stigma in my head. There was a woman who came up to me at a public meeting recently and said, you know, she was a little older than I am, and she looked like somebody who you'd sit down next to at church or something, somebody that you'd be perfectly comfortable with and familiar with. She looked like, you know, not what people imagine when they imagine Section 8. And she said, you know, I'm on Section 8 and it's difficult to get on Section 8 and they're very strict. And you have to follow a lot of rules, and I'm on because I'm disabled and I can't work anymore and my retirement doesn't cover it. When this whole thing started, I got excited because I'm familiar with INHS. I had taken a class from them 20 years ago when we moved here. We didn't make enough money to afford a house. They had plans for first-time homeowners. And I told my husband that if INHS came to Parker, we could retire and live in Parker. I could see myself living in Parker. But I think part of it is that it's Ithaca. I've had people say to me, it's Ithaca, and we don't want to be like Ithaca. So there's that piece of it. There's the piece of it that it's Section 8 and people are worried that there will be a lot of undesirable people associated with the building. There's someone said to me, I wouldn't want to see it become housing for one kind of people because we need mixed housing. Because if you put just one type of people, even if it's elderly, you kind of ghettoize those people. They're clustered together, they tend to stay together, and we need to mix people up more. And so it's interesting. What I really like out of all of this is that people are talking and they're talking to each other. And, you know, for a long time, I would have ward meetings and one or two people would come. And so I just quit having ward meetings. There were a lot of people at this meeting. People are concerned. It's galvanized interest in politics in the city. And I think that's a great thing. So we're getting that out of it. And to serve on council is to serve. You serve the people who elected you. And so that is my intention.
It's also tough what you're saying about Section 8, I mean, without, I don't know if there's any way to possibly find out. We had Section 8, we had good Section 8. All of my property around here to Rochester, we have Section 8 around the problem. But people got, you know, who knows how many right now on Madison Street are Section 8? We don't know.
We don't know.
Could be 3/4 of them. Is there any problems? They don't know they're on Section 8. They think they're nice people in the world just like you met.
Exactly.
You say. And I said before, it's all how they waste the property.
I guess, I guess I would like to see section 8 reworded. Every time you mention that, it seems to put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And there are people out there that need the help, need the assistance, and they are good people. I can see how things could go astray, but you know, we as council people can't judge people by their income,
Right,
their needs, their housing capability and their jobs. We need to make sure that we provide the best we can for these individuals.
yeah. It was also appealing to me because I like the idea of there being housing on a sliding scale such that somebody who is a single parent or somebody who is just starting out and can afford some of the housing in Portland, which can be very expensive because the student market drives it up, could get a start and maybe save some. Because when we moved here, you know, when my husband was in school, we were on food stamps. We moved here, we had very little money. We had, you guys have heard me say this before, we had 2 little boys, a 4-year-old and a 5.5-year-old. We were 4 people, and the apartments that I looked at, they wanted to charge us per person, which just blew my mind. And we were lucky enough to find somebody through my husband's department who wanted to rent their house for a year and felt good about having a family there. And so we lucked into that, but you know, there's a need, just like with childcare, there's a need.
When I first moved here, I had 2 small children, we lived up, the Northcliffe apartments had just been built. And I lived up there, we lived up there, for probably a year, and the federal government gave me $30 every 3 months to live there. So, I mean, there's a need.
Yeah,
There is a need.
and we, you know, you went on to make more money, own a house. We went on to make more money, own a house. We didn't need it forever, but yeah.
No, it is hard, for young families, single family kids. You know, since everybody's been sharing, my wife and I, when we first married, our first apartment cost us $125 a month.
Wow.
Tom, you're old. My first apartment was 500.
I'm glad you're able to afford it.
No, it's just amazing, but you know. We'll hand it out, but I don't, it's just my personal belief. We got our RFP out there, I don't know if the time's been up yet, but if they reapply, we can't kick them off the thing.
That's right.
I
And I go back to the plan, is the RFP itself and what they're presenting versus what the new one is requesting. You're gonna get what you asked for.
Right,
And so I think we're asking for more of a mixed use concept. That people might be more attuned to look at it favorably.
that I think is part of the goal of the committee, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mary Claire and Pat.
No, I think that's.
But I believe part of the goal of the committee is to identify what we want to see in the building, we being the Cortland community, in particular, the people of that neighborhood, and then writing an RFP that fits that to see who can hopefully fulfill that. Yeah,
let's just keep an open mind as we move forward, as, what this property could be used for or utilized for. And, the people that, may inhabit it.
I can guarantee you one thing, no matter what we do. What we right for some people.
Oh, yeah, it
Decision
can't
we
please
gotta
everybody.
make, you know.
Yeah, it's never gonna
Decision
happen.
we gotta make, but I'm a
Right.
firm believer, like I just
Right.
stated before, the only reason I asked for an RFP, no more RFP, because everybody was asking. Yep, I just thought that was the right thing to do. It's gonna come to a point, we're gonna have to make a decision.
Right,
Pull the
right,
trigger.
there has to be an end point.
Yeah.
Right,
I wish we had a, pot of gold, we come up with so much stuff for the city and everything else.
oh, yeah.
There's so much grant money out there, there's just. I wish we weren't even in this, I wish we weren't even in this situation, I didn't want nothing to do with it to begin with, so who, and just go. That and my own business.
Well, true, but I like that we own the ordinance, so we have some control over what happens to it. So it didn't, yeah.
Right now, people are interested in, pickleball in there, so. So,
Let's get the first court
I
done.
did have one little boy say he wanted an indoor playground. I love that he wrote that on the
Yeah.
chart.
so is there anything else that, come before the council tonight, before we adjourn?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You
So
do.
Yeah.
moved.
Pat, Wayne second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's on that.
Enjoy the rest of the evening.